Hello everyone! So today I was inspired by this lyric video by Dua Lipa, and I would like to create a similar looking scene for a lyric video, or I don't know, other purpose, but I'm mostly making lyric videos, so I will look at it as a scene from lyric video. I already tried to create this scene, and I created this one. It's a little bit different looking scene from the original Dua Lipa video, but I really liked those lyrics. Practice makes perfect. I'm still trying to learn it, so I think that's fit what we are doing here. We are gonna create something like that today. So let's create a new composition and start working on it. I will create 1080p 25 frames per second, and I will change the duration to something like 20 seconds. So we have a composition. Let's create a background, that brick background. For that we need some kind of brick background footage. Actually, I found one very nice footage on Pexels. You can download it for free, and I will leave a link for this footage that I use in the description below. So let's download it and add it to our composition. I will rename my composition to main comp. So we have this background. I will press S to scale, S, and I will press this button to see the borders, and I will scale it down. Okay, now what I want to do, I would like to change this scene into the dark scene. So first of all, maybe I will create a vignette. So I'll create a new solid. Everything goes into the other screen. I hope I spelled correctly. If you press and hold on this, you can choose different tools. I will choose the ellipse tool, and I will double click on it, and it will draw a perfect ellipse. As you can see, mask option opened. I would like to make dark borders, not the center of my scene, so I can invert it, or I can subtract it. Any option you choose, that's perfectly fine. Okay, let's press F, and that will open Mask Fever. Let's increase it by a lot, something like that. I think that looks good. Now let's go to our main image and go to Effects and Presets and search for tint and map white to some kind of bluish greenish color. Okay, now search for brightness and contrast. Brightness and contrast, that's what we need, and increase contrast by a lot, maybe to the max, 100. Those bricks are way bigger than I would like them to be, so I would like to make them smaller to something like maybe like that. I think that would look way better. But now we have this border which we can fill with reptile effect. So let's search for reptile, I don't know. So we can expand this background, for example, expand right, and as you can see, it's expanding. It doesn't look very good right now because tiling is set on repeat, but if we will change on unfold, it will unfold just like a book. It's the same, it's just mirrored and unfolded. So we can do the same to the left, down, and up. We easily expanded and changed the picture by a lot. It's not perfect, it's unfolded in weird way at this point, but it doesn't matter for me that much. It's not that noticeable, and those small issues, I can deal with that. Our background looks quite good, I think. And now we can start drawing the shapes that we would like to use. As in my example, I would like to draw a dartboard and 3 darts and animate them by changing the opacity. So let's do that. Dartboard is not that difficult to draw. That's basically 1, 2, 3, 4 circles. Even I can draw that, and I already have drawn those darts. I will leave links for those in the description. I'm not gonna draw those in this tutorial. So let's create a circle. Let's choose the ellipse tool and hold shift and draw a circle. So you can see it. I will change the stroke for now to the red. It will be more visible, and I will rename the layer to dartboard. I will press V and I will move it. I will change the anchor point to the center of my shape. The reason for that, I would like to create more shapes and scale them up. And I would like them to stay in the same position, because now if I will, for example, duplicate it and I will scale it, it scales from here. So that's not very good. To change the anchor point, just select the shape, press Y, and you have this option to move it. Alternatively, you can select this pen behind anchor point tool. As you can see already, it has Y shortcut. So you can select it and move it to the center. To move it exactly to the center, you can press Ctrl and it snaps. For example, as you can see, it snaps to the borders, here to the center, and it snaps exactly in the center of my shape. So that's very helpful. I will go to my shape, to contents, and I will rename this ellipse to center. And I will go to transform and I will scale it down a little bit. I need the center to be quite tiny. Now I can duplicate the center by pressing Ctrl D, and I will have another shape. If I will scale it up, you will be able to see it. So yeah, we have another shape in the same shape layer. I think this way is easier to work. The problem is when we scale, our stroke scales also. So we can close those, select contents, and add stroke. Let's remove the stroke. Let's just delete this stroke from other shapes. And now we will control our stroke of the lines by this stroke that we created. So I will change it to the red again, and I will increase the stroke. Now I can duplicate this circle by pressing Ctrl D again, and I will scale it up once more. And I will do the same once again. Ctrl D, go to transform and scale it up. Doesn't look good. I probably need to change the scale of, not skew, scale of this and circle. And probably I will change the scale of the center to the... I will make this bullseye a little bit smaller. It's not very difficult to draw a dartboard. So now let's import the dart which I draw, and I will leave link for it. So yeah, I will just drag and drop it into my composition, and I will import it just as footage. I will drag it to my composition. I will change the color of it. I can do that by adding fill effect. Maybe let's change this to some kind of blue color for now and scale it down. Let's try to search for right proportions. Let's rotate it a little bit, and I need 3 of those. So one here, and one here. Let's adjust it a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit too small. I will scale it up everything. And now I think it looks good. So let's create a text, and then we will start to creating neon effects and other cool stuff. Now I would like to lay everything in, and then we will start to work on the magic. So new text, and the lyrics is practice makes perfect. I'm still trying to learn it. I'll just type it. Okay, I will use a different font. Pacifico might be interesting, and it might work just fine, but maybe I will use the same font from my example, that's Transmute. You can find it on Adobe fonts. If you are using After Effects, you should have access to Adobe fonts, and it's really easy to enable it, disable it, and use it. I will duplicate it by Ctrl D. So I adjusted position and the scene quite a bit. As you can see, I moved everything more to the center, so it looks like that. And let's create that neon look that I promised. Let's start from the dartboard. My neon look technique is quite simple. I will duplicate that 2 times just to have 3 layers. So the first layer is the shadow. You can edit the name of the layer by pressing enter. So that's dartboard shadow. The second layer, it gives some kind of neon look, blur, and the third is glow. So I will disable those 2 layers and let's work on the shadow. I would like to make the shadow black. And this shadow is not a shadow actually, it's a base of neon light when it is turned off. I will add a fill effect and I will make it black. We can just change the stroke to black. It's the same, it doesn't matter. I will disable this so I could see it better. Go to layer styles and I will add bevel and emboss. And that gives me some kind of metallic look, which looks really cool. It fits the scene very well. I would like to add a shadow with drop shadow effect. But as you can see, my drop shadow effect also had this bevel and emboss effect which we created before. So let's delete this and add shadow by the same way that we add those bevel and emboss. Right mouse button, layer styles, drop shadow. It's the same effect, it just works a little bit different with another layer styles added. So let's go to drop shadow, increase the distance a little bit, and it already looks way better. I would like to increase the size a little bit to make it blurrier, and maybe I increase the opacity and increase the size a little bit more. Now it looks a little bit dimensional. We can clearly see that a metal thing here, and it has a shadow on the wall. We can move to the second layer, which is blur. So I will enable it. I will change the stroke to the actual color, which I'm gonna use. So it's gonna be something like that. Yeah, that color might work well in this situation. So this color, and I will add Gaussian blur. And I will increase blurriness by a lot. And as you can see, if we have a lot of blurriness, it has some kind of the glowing effect. So let's increase another one. Let's change the color to the same as our blur and add a glow effect. Glow. And it's already glowing. I probably increase the intensity by a lot and radius by a little bit. Something like that. Yep. So we created the dartboard, and in the same way we are gonna create all the other shapes. I'm gonna rename those dart layers to first dart, second dart, and third dart. Now I'm gonna duplicate first dart by 2 times, and I will rename those layers to first dart, shadow, blur, and glow. I will do the same with second dart and third dart. Now I have the right names on those layers, and I can create those effects. I will go to this, I will copy the fill effect, and I will paste it on the shadow parts. Now I can go to dartboard shadow, expand it, go to layer styles, and copy blending options and drop shadow. I want to see if it's changing, so I will disable those layers. And I see that something is not right. I don't have bevel and emboss effects, so I will copy this one, and that looks good. So I copied the wrong effects. I'll select those, and this time I will copy the right ones. Probably we need to adjust it a little bit. I will disable this. Here I think it looks good because it has a lot of light dropping on the surface. But here I would like to decrease it a little bit. So I will go to bevel and emboss, and I will decrease the depth to something like 40. And now I will copy those effects, and I will paste it to my other layers. And shadow layers looks quite good. Now let's enable blur layers. I really like to work with fill effect because I can copy it very easy. Let's make the color of the dart to something like that, maybe. Let's try this color. And I will copy it. Easy as that. Again, I will search for Gaussian blur. And I will increase it by a lot. Maybe just something like that. And I will copy and paste this effect on other layers. Now I will enable the glow layers. And I probably just go back to the dartboard glow and copy this effect by Ctrl C. And of course, glow. It looks so much better, right? Boom. That looks good. Now let's work with the text. So we have probably 8. Yeah, we have 8 text layers, and to do the same as we did before, just duplicate each layer 3 times and apply an effect on each layer. That would be a really painful process. So I think it would be better to pre-compose those by pressing right mouse button and pre-compose. I will name it text. And okay. And now we have a text composition. We can go inside, select all, and change the text color. At first I will disable stroke because we have a slight 1 pixel stroke. I don't know why. I used it probably in the last project. So we can select this and press this to disable it if you have this. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. So now we can change the text color. I will try to make it orange or something like, maybe, yeah, something like that. Let's see how it looks. I think maybe a little bit lighter orange would look better. Maybe something like that. Let's try to do that. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, let's go to text, and we did everything here. So we can do the same as we did the last time. Duplicate this 2 times, rename it. I want to know which layer is which. Shadow, blur, and glow. Again, I will disable those. I want to see the result. I will go, maybe let's add it by hand again. Right mouse button, layer styles, bevel and emboss. And I would like to make this text black by fill, with fill effect, just like that. And we have black text, which looks quite good. Maybe I will decrease the depth a little bit to something like that. Again, we need drop shadow and layer styles, drop shadow. I will increase the opacity to maximum. The distance, I don't know, 15. I don't remember the numbers I used before. And spread? No, not spread. Size. Yeah, something like that. And I really like it. Okay, Let's go to blur. Enable this. Add Gaussian blur. Increase it by something like that. Glow. Boom. Glow. Do I still have... No, that's good. So let's increase the intensity to something like 5 and radius a little bit. So we have our scene and now we can animate it. Let's start with the text. Let's make this composition 4 seconds long. I will set my time indicator on 4 seconds and press N. And now I will have a 4-second looping thing. So let's start to animate the text. Here I also set the 4 seconds. To animate text it's the easiest part. When you have the music, I don't have it because I don't want copyright on my video. So I will do this without the music, but when you have a music, you should match the lyrics based on the lyrics in the song. I'll just animate it like that, very randomly, and it just appears. Practice makes perfect. Maybe I will animate the practice also from the point 0. Pum 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 pum. Awesome. So let's see how it looks here. Pum 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 pum. Good. Let's get back to the text and we will add some opacity blinking effects. So press T. That will enable opacity. All the shortcuts has the similar letters to the first letter of the effect. For example, S is scale, P position, but opacity is T. It's easier to remember if you call opacity transparency. So T, transparency, it's the same as opacity. So yeah. Let's go to the second frame of this layer and insert the keyframe. Let's get back to the first frame and change the opacity to 0. Or maybe not. We can enable at first frame. Boom. Then let's go to the 0. Then to something like 50. Next frame again to the 0 and 100. And this animation looks like that. Some kind of blinking animation. We can copy this and add to all our layers at the beginning. By Ctrl C, I will enable opacity for all the layers, and you will see that I will enable it. So I copied this by Ctrl C, and I go to this layer, select it, Ctrl V. Another layer, Ctrl V, another layer, another, and the same thing to all the layers. And now it looks, where is 4 seconds? Looks like that. I like this because it looks like blinking neon thing. We can add more of it in the middle somewhere randomly. That's a very, very random thing. And let's see how it looks. So let's see how it looks here. We want our shadow layer to be visible at all times. So what can I do? I will enable time remapping. So right mouse button and enable time remapping, or Alt Ctrl T. I use shortcuts. Let's delete the first frame. And now at all times of the composition, we have the last frame of this layer. It's difficult to explain for me, but at all times it will be enabled because at this time we have all the layers enabled. So yeah, that looks quite good. If we want, we can change the text color, and that will be visible in the composition, in our original composition. We already animated the text, and I'm pretty happy about it. Now let's animate the dartboard. We will use the same thing. Let's go to the text. I will copy those keyframes which we already created. I will go to dartboard glow. I'm probably started from here. I will enable opacity by pressing T, and I will paste my keyframes here. Awesome. The thing is that when this layer is disabled, this is still enabled. We can do the same and paste the keyframes, the same keyframes here, and that works perfectly. But it's not the easiest thing to do if we will create a lot of animations here. For example, we add more and more blinking effects throughout. It will be hard to match those. I have another solution. We have opacity and we have this pick whip. If we will pick whip opacity from the glow, those will be matched. And as you can see, now when 50% opacity is on the glow, it's the same 50% opacity on the blur layer. It's a better way to work. And now if I will add another blinking effect here, pim, 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 pim. It works. It works very well. I don't need to add it again and again. So I will add a couple of those, maybe here, and it looks like that. Pim, 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 pim. Very awesome. And let's do the same to the darts. Again, I will go to the glow layer and I will make it in different color. I will make it orange. And I will make all glow layers orange. In that way I will know which is the main layer, because I'm gonna make the same thing as I just did. I will match blur opacity to the glow opacity. That's easier for me to know at which layer I need to add keyframes. So let's go to the first dart, which is this. Or maybe let's start from the third. Okay, so I will move those two a little bit to here, and I will copy this and I will paste it here. I will enable transparency. Pim, 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 pim. Right. I will match this by T. Go to opacity and match that one. And now we have the same settings. And here I will move, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 frames. I will add another keyframe and I will blink it out slowly. 0. Again, something 40, 0. How does it look? Hop, and I will add the same animation to the second dart here, but I will start when this fades out. I will fade it in at the same time. So when this ding 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 ding. Good. Again, let's go to opacity, match this one with this, and the third one, it will start here. Again, T, V, T, and match to opacity. I will end this, by N in here, and let's see how this animation looks like. Third isn't looking right because now it should. Yeah, I made a mistake here. I should do it like that. Let me fix it real quick. And like that. Let's see how it looks. Now I need to loop it out for 4 seconds. We can paste it again and again and again, or we can, for example, select all dart layers, press Alt and right bracket. Let's move it to here, to the last keyframe. The last dart do not respond to the keyframes, and I guess it is because as my last mistake, I forgot to disable the expression. So I will disable it now, and it should work perfectly now. I probably need to add this keyframe here to loop it out correctly. Let's try to pre-compose all darts layers. Darts. Okay. And it looks like that. And we can go to time, enable time remapping. Press Alt and select the stopwatch and write loop out and see how it looks. No, it doesn't look right. Okay. So I need this here all the time. Okay, this is bad because we need to change this frame to 0, and now it will look better. Let's see how it looks. So to explain what we did, we created this animation. We cut it at the end and we just looped it out. As you can see, loop out has a tiny bug. We can go to the one frame before the last frame, enable the keyframe and replace the last frame with that keyframe. Now we can add the background lights, which will give us a little bit more of glowing visuals to the wall, because when this glowing wall also should look like the light is glowing at it, just like that. So let's create a new solid and name it BG light. Okay, I will drag down and select a pencil and draw a mask on it. Just be sure that you selected this layer, because it will draw a shape. If you are drawing a mask, you should see that square near the pen. So if I will draw a mask around this, it will look like that. Let's press F to add feather. Now add 4 color gradient effect to it. And you already see that things changing. So we have those points. For example, this one is a green point, and I will change the green point to this color. So adjust those points based on the colors of your animations, of your pictures. Okay, that looks quite okay. So change the blending mode. If you don't see the blending mode, you can press F4 and that will enable and disable it to vivid light, and go to opacity. You already know the shortcut, it's T, and decrease it to something like 30. Yeah, so this is how it looks without the background light and with it. I think it looks good. It looks quite good. So our scene looks quite nice already. I like how it looks. Maybe we can change the color of the text, but this tutorial came out very long, so let's move on. The last effect that I would like to add, the smoke effect. The scene is very clear and I would like to have a little bit of smoke at the bottom of the screen. We can do that by creating new, again solid, and let's name it smoke. Let's add fractional noise effect to this layer. And we have this noise. We can increase the contrast by a lot. What about the brightness? Maybe decrease it a little bit. And let's invert it. It doesn't look like a smoke yet. We can decrease the opacity by a little bit. And let's draw a mask again. With pen tool, I will draw a mask. I would like this smoke to be on the bottom of the screen, so something like that. Boom. We would like to increase the complexity again by a lot, something like 20. And you already see some kind of the clouds. If we want to move this, we need to change the evolution. And it moves a little bit. So we can do that with keyframes, or we can do that with expression. Both options are fine. I will do this time with the keyframes. I will set the first keyframe at the beginning and the second keyframe at the end. I will change the evolution to something like 3. I tested before and I really liked it. The next thing that I would like to do, I would like to change the feather. Probably that's feather. And yeah, something like that. I don't want that edgy look. Something like that is better. Again, I would like the smoke to move a little bit. I would like to move it to the right side, maybe a little bit up. So we can go to transform and we can set keyframes to offset turbulence. Right? We have one keyframe here and the second one, you can see that it's moving and it's moving up. So it looks like that. And it doesn't look good yet. I would like to decrease the opacity of the effect by a lot to something like 30 probably. And I will change the blending mode to add. That's already looking like a little bit of smoke. I will also decrease the opacity here. And I will add a fill effect. With the color of some kind of a gray. And maybe decrease the opacity a little bit more. I don't want it to be very visible. Too visible. So this is how it looks. And another thing that I would like to add is wiring. It gives a little bit of depth to the scene. And it's quite easy to do. So select an empty place on your timeline, select the pen tool, and let's draw a stroke. And I will draw a stroke with the darts on the dart board and in the text, something like that. Okay, it doesn't look too good. I will make it black. I will make the stroke less visible to something like, I don't know, to something like 2 pixels probably, or 3 pixels, maybe 2. Two is maybe too small. I will make it 3. Okay, I want to name it wire. And I will move it below the smoke and below, actually below everything. I will add the same effect from the same shadow effect basically. So bevel and emboss and drop shadow. So let's have a look. Drop shadow not very visible. Okay, it's not very visible because distance is too far and the size is too big. Yeah, something like that might be better. So I'll go to the first frame when it's not lighted at all, and we can adjust it a little bit. Shouldn't be perfect. Let's see how it looks. We have those wires which goes based on our picture. And the last thing that I would like to add to those wires are, I don't know how to name it, but probably clippings. I will draw another shape like that. I will increase the stroke a lot. So this is, I'll name this wire. This one clipping. I don't know if that's the right word for in this context, but I don't know a better word. So let's go to stroke and from change miltered join to brown join, and that nothing happened. From butt cap to round cap, and that looks like this thing is holding the wire, which I like. And now we can duplicate it and move, whoa, and move to other parts. Whoops. Let's get back to contents. And set it up in the places that you want. Maybe here. Whoops. And I think stroke might be a little bit too wide. Maybe 10 points of maybe it's still a little bit too wide. Let's try 8. 5.9 looks quite good, I think. And I will add a couple more of those. So those are the small details that I like to add, and it looks way better. And here is how the final render looks like. Now all you need is to create more scenes like that and compile everything into a lyric video. This tutorial came out way longer than I expected, and I am thinking about part 2 of it. So let me know in the comments if you would like to learn how easily create new scenes from the scene that we just made, or how to create transitions between the scenes or other things that would make your lyric video better. That is pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want more similar stuff in your life, make sure to subscribe and turn the notifications. And if this tutorial helped you to create a video, you can tag me as SBLJ on social media. I love to see my students work online. Stay creative and see you in the following video.